practice been?
Good. The first one was better than the second one, which it always is, but, good. Their effort was good. Well, their effort's been good, though. I think we've had 3, right? 3 to 4, something like that. Friday, Saturday, till Sunday off. We've had 3.
Might be missing a few of these things, but so far,
No, not you.
over the course of the summer, I think your team has played a softball game, been in the mines, a day of paintball. I'm just kind of wondering, this kind of stuff, is this,
Shot ski.
yeah, just, does this kind of stuff, does it make a difference in the team?
I don't know, ask me in March. I don't know, I mean, we've always done stuff, we just haven't done, I want to take them into mine. Larry always played a softball game when he was head coach at Hartford. I was talking to Dave Alvarez, and he has that skeet shooting thing, and I thought, well, that'd be fun. They've played paintball for the last whatever. They've done that for a long time. So, I don't, it's not that drastically different. Softball game, the guy, the umpire said, Coach, how about next year, if I have like 20 minutes with them, a little seminar and teach them the rules? And I said, no, then we'll never win. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Bob.
When it comes to chemistry and that kind of stuff, do you sense any kind of difference with this bunch?
Yeah, I think that Wani and Gary, and really Devin too, have done a great job of helping guys. I think a much better job than what probably, well, no, I don't think there's any doubt. To this point, they've done a much better job than what people have done the last couple of years of trying to help them understand and trying to just help them with some of the little nuances of, what's important, what we think's important. I've always been fortunate. I've always had guys. It's their deal. It's their program, but I've always been fortunate to have guys that have always stepped up. And then first year in the Big 12, we had nobody that wanted to. They just didn't want to. I didn't think the guys did a great job last year. They were okay, but they weren't great. I think that these guys have been terrific.
With Devin stepping up, I mean, does that help him kind of understand more? I mean, after playing a whole year, does it help him kind of show other guys some things?
I had a guy a long time ago at Akron came in and said, Coach, I can't do this. It's too hard. It's just too hard. And I said, that's because you're selfish and all you think about yourself. And he's a big guy. And he was like, Coach, that ain't right. And I said, no, it is right, man. You don't spend any time trying to help those other guys. If you would spend, he was a senior, if you spend more time trying to help those other guys, you'll forget about, it's like mess bin. We're just talking about mess bin on treadmill. If you watch TV, you don't think about being on treadmill. If you're helping somebody else, you don't think about how much more time is there left. Guys like watching the clock, like how much longer do we got to go? Well, if you're helping other people, you're more into it. And I think we have a whole lot more guys that are into trying to help each other. And when that happens, you don't think about how long you're out there, you don't think about how hard it is, or, you think about trying to get those other guys to understand and get through, what you have to get through. It's not easy.
Coach, this Gold and Blue debut coming up next week. I guess tell me what you think about the event and getting everyone excited for the season and whatnot.
We're not gonna practice before. We kind of practice a little bit before, and I know I did it at Kansas State. We had a dunk contest, nobody could dunk. Their legs were gone. And I think we're not gonna do that. We may just kind of, run through some sets or something, just so they have a couple things that they can do. So they should be fresher. It should be, and we've got 16 guys. The 4 walk-ons, we've got 16 guys, so we gotta have 8 on a team, so we'll be able to rest guys a little bit. They're not gonna be good because it's the first time they've run up and down, but you gotta run up and down. You gotta run up and down something to get in basketball shape.
When you look at how much you were able to keep the ball in Juwan's hands last year running the offense, do you want that again this year, or do you want it spread out a little bit more? Can other guys handle the ball without turning it over?
To be brutally honest, Justin, we kept the ball in his hands because he was number 2 in the league in assist to turnover ratio.
Right.
And our other guys were negative. Our other perimeter guys were all negative. So, I mean, you have no chance to win that way. So, I mean, it was prudent for us to keep the ball in the guys' hands that weren't gonna give it to the other team. So that's why we did it.
Right.
It was the only chance we had to win.
Is that different this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good bit different.
You mentioned getting the guys into basketball shape. Are you happy with the way everybody came into practice condition-wise?
Yeah, they've had a good summer. I think when you look at them, I think physically they look good physically, and I mean it's kind of a double-edged sword. You want to run up and down, but you can't run up and down because you don't know what you're doing, and so you have to break everything down, and you try as best you can to go whole part whole, but you're stopping them so much that it's hard to get into basketball shape. So I think for us to run up and down and have officials and that whole deal, and hopefully the officials call it the way they're going to call it in the game, that helps us too. And then I think a week or 2 after that we have a scrimmage, and then we have an exhibition, and then we play. So our opportunities for game-like situations aren't there's not very many. And then you go play, whomever in Puerto Rico. Hopefully we make it to the second round, which is New Mexico or probably Texas A&M. We're both very good. And then, who knows, maybe the defending national champion. So we have to get ready a little faster than maybe what normally you would or what you would like to.
Are you scrimmaging this year?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you scrimmaging?
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
I'm not saying it.
Speaking of conditioning, I think that you have that turf outside, so they can run on the grass instead.
Just keep the deers out, is the only reason we do
Oh, just
it. Deer were in there eating all the grass.
Bring a speed champion out to get them there.
And then, raccoon didn't have a place to hide. No, it was just, Andy was, we had to take him over to the stadium sometimes. there the whole year round.
Right.
So it was just, we had that space out there, and, I mean, it was either do that or we're gonna have to go in and have people come in and fix that anyways. There were big holes in there, tire tracks and everything else in there. You can honestly, you could break your ankle walking in that grass out there, so we had to do something, and this was the most practical thing to do, and it gives us a place to run.
Do you like what you've seen out of the junior college guards?
Which day? Yeah, I mean, they're, you know, it's hard. It's really hard. It's so much harder than what people think it is when you're trying to think what you're supposed to do and still play. It's really hard. I think probably Tariq is probably a little bit further ahead for, I don't know, whatever reason. But, you know, their effort's been good. I mean, Jay Sean's effort's been good. Billy's effort's been good. Which you would hope that it would be now, at this point in time of the season, but they've been fine.
Well, but it's almost harder with a junior college person than a high school person to bring in, because they kind of have to unlearn junior college guys more than.
I'd much rather have junior college guys. They're so much more mature. You know, they're physically so much more mature. They're mentally so much more mature. They've actually played better competition. It's night and day for, you know, and when you're a freshman, you go out there, you make some shots in open gym, you think you can play with those guys, but you haven't figured out yet that they really haven't started playing yet. And then all of a sudden, they come out the first day, and now all of a sudden, you're playing for a position. You're not just playing because it's open gym, you're playing actually for a spot. And it's night and day for them. I mean, they are like looking around like, I thought you were my friend, you know. It's just so, it just totally changes for them. And physically, very few of them are ready for what's coming at them.
Coach, you spoke to the schedule a little bit ago. How do you think the non-conference schedule sets up to help your team be ready for the Big 12 conference schedule?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of, you go back and forth. You know, sometimes, I mean, I probably made a mistake 2 years ago. We probably should have had a much easier schedule so that we could kind of work our way into things without losing as much as we lost early on. I mean, basically, when you got a good team, you want to play a good schedule. When your team's not quite so good, you probably should back off of the schedule, and I've never been smart enough to do that. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. We're playing at Madison Square Garden, which is great, and we're playing it. It's a great field in Puerto Rico. I mean, that's a great field. When you start looking around the country at who's playing where, that's a hell of a field in Puerto Rico. And you know, LSU, from everything I can gather, is going to be one of the better teams in the SEC. You know, Virginia Tech, Buzz will do a great job of it. I mean, they'll play like they always do, play really hard, really come at you. So I think it's a situation where we're going to have to learn under fire. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't do any good to go play all of them and win by 35 either. You know, that doesn't do any good. And I'm old, I get bored. I used to think that was fun. I just don't get as much enjoyment out of it anymore.
Anything else?